How's it going, family? I wanted to talk to you about something. I believe that our Father showed me something, and uh, if things will be revealed to us, and there's a definite thing, and that is that you can see something by surface ripples. You can see what you can't see by the effects that it has by things connected to it. And I there's many there's a lot that goes with it, and there's parts that I may get wrong, may or may not get wrong, but the thing is that the the gist is what it is, and it has one of two natures. Either, and it's probably these together. It's either the way things are moving, and either it's the way things are moving is unbeknownst to everyone involved, or it's or it's and it's intended. And the former is, I'm even mentioning that that's kind of discarded mind. I don't think that's reality. At the very least, I don't know how and I mean, just with simple logic, I don't know how ignorant people moving things can be, uh, that they can't discern the nature of how they're moving. Uh, it's we are on the fast track to the end of this place, family, and you can accept that or not. You can live in your little allotment of time here and act like you're not going to leave this place, but what goes with that is not just leaving this place, but this place not being anymore. Um, I'll just talk in a bunch of different directions, and uh, hopefully, I'll get out, my mind, and I think this is valid mind. I think this is exactly what's going on. You see like little pieces in places, and uh, you look at the Leviathan cross, and you look at the aspects of it, and you wonder. You heard about what had happened in the garden, and uh, I want to speak about things correctly. Um, there's what he did, what Satan did, betraying God, betraying us, was not a good thing. And God sees things how we don't see. We have a mental framework, or I don't know if I could say this, but our minds, well, it's just that we operate within, our minds aren't absolute. And it's we have our focus, but it's relative too. It's relative to everything is that is a part of our reality, and it's any one thing in its relation to everything else. That's what defines that thing. And we operate within a framework that is an absolute, and that's something that we can't comprehend, and we can't step outside of it to discern what is that absolute, except, what's outside of everything, and that's everything, and that's our Father. But what he did wasn't good. God is the source of all good, all beauty, all life, all light, and all love. And we see that we can we live in a fallen realm, but we see that what is base is that these core things, we live to die, but concurrently, our life contains good. Our life contains good qualitative things. It contains life. It contains love. It contains any good thing that is connected to these, and that is proof that we don't live to die. We do, but what is contained in that? And then you see what's fundamental. Then you see that before the evil that's indeed necessitated in this realm, because God sees everything, and He sees it. He sees the thing as though it's still, as though it's static, and He sees. I believe this, and I believe that He sees it from every direction. He sees all in all. He sees everything, every one thing, and as is connected to everything. I believe that our God's all omnipotent. And then you look and you say, why? Well, evil's necessitated because how many people would choose it? It's inarguable. And you say, well, why wouldn't you just put us in a certain form? Because He created us, and we create ourselves. And that's perfect. We choose who we are. And we are a variable in this reality. And God can only negate it in as much as He can. I believe that God makes the best possible good. And even the broken things He creates, He uses for good, and He will heal everything. But we are variables, and hell, evil entities, evil itself are, are variables. And, but, there's this brother that's, and I see little things, and you put it all together, and, I think God moves us. The one thing is, from the beginning, you don't have to see the depth of darkness to have the truth. There's, and I don't want to displace too far into, tangent with this, but there's, I was talking to my brother about this. He works with brothers and sisters with Down syndrome, and the thing is they I believe that that's special life. I believe that there may be even special life inside of them. And, the qualitative existence that they have in them, it's, they don't have a mind for the bullshit, you know. Um, but, uh, all this to say, I was in a church and there was a brother that believed, and uh, it's just that God, how difficult to grasp is the concept of salvation and our sensation with the reality of it. To connect with that, to come to terms with that, to come to God on God's perfect terms. How difficult is that? And that's not removed from us. Hell would try to place every barrier in front of us. And the layperson, the simple mind, is for the spectrum of us. And it's not removed from the wise fools either. But what do I have to say? This brother, um, Amir Safari, and he's I seen this and I seen some other things, but this is kind of what made me realize, and then, maybe it's I don't think it's by chance. We are moved by the Spirit, but this brother, he's I don't know if he's a messianic Jew, but he lives in Israel, and I was gonna speak on this because I'm coming more and more to how we our Lord of the universe, Judaism, its line is the truth. Is, you look, and God had to have a chosen people. That's to serve all people. There has to be a focus, and that's how the entity that was with God before creation was. That's how he was introduced into this realm, was by line, and that's to serve all people. But you look at uh, little Israel, and how the size of New Jersey, and how the world hates it, and uh, in a sense, I think that Israel has maybe fallen away in certain ways. Some of its population, and by and large, there's many brothers and sisters that haven't accepted him. But God is faithful, and for the perfection of things, everything will happen. As in, prophecy is on immovable, and that's actually what I was thinking about too. Prophecy is immovable, and because it's with prophecy and its existence is with the reality of us interacting with it. So it's almost like a loop, that it doesn't necessarily create reality, but it's with the reality of our exposure to it. And but what do I have to say? Uh, Amir, he pointed out, he uncovers, simple truths, and sometimes simple truths are, sometimes they're hidden. Um, but that's how the Spirit moves. It reveals things to us. But in a sense, you've heard the Illuminati, And I didn't take them. I just had the mind that somehow that they weren't a matter. But that's exactly how things work. I mean, it's effective, right? But he made the point um, that they've been since the beginning, and it makes sense because in a sense, uh, not in a certain form, but the essence of it has been since the beginning. Because the enlightenment of what do you think the enlightenment of Adam and Eve was? And then you find like different groups how they've transferred. Um, and I may speak improperly, but like I said, just the gist. It's first it was what the Cabal, and then it was the Knights Templar, and then it was the Illuminati, and then now it's Freemasons, and it's you see how they've moved, and then you make sense that money and power, they don't necessarily at least handled correctly, it doesn't necessarily go away. Money exists to make more money. And another thing is, why you have everything that's intended to be seen. And it's just that. If you, let me give you a scenario. You count 1,000 bills, and imagine that every one of those bills is $1 million, and you do that 1,000 times. You count 1,000 bills, each of those are $1 million, and then you do that 1,000 times, and then you do that 2 or 3 times. There's at least 3 groups here that have that much money, family, and you have a certain amount of influence. I don't know if we know what it means to have that much money. There's certain laws, and I call them that because it necessitates certain things. There's certain realities that are attached to it. If you have that much money, you can't not have integration with things, family. You can't. And there's I don't know exactly how you could map that out, but you find the history of these people, what they've adherents of this line, this mind, what they've done, and what they've held to. They worship him. It's an interesting thing. Is look at Baphomet. You see like little things within and uh, well, I'll go back and complete what I was gonna say. Okay, so you have that much money where you're counting 1,000 bills that are $1 million 1,000 times, and then doing that 2 or 3 times. And we are the machine. The people that have power only have power by us. And the thing is, if you have that much money, then you have to answer to having that much money. Why do you think we don't see them? And um, they control. They've to give you a picture of them. They've what have they done? Like an instance was as far back as they've had stocks. And I'm not gonna name the name because the name doesn't need to be remembered. But this man, he sent somebody into this war. It was I think it was Germany and Britain, but I think it was Napoleon. And he sent this person into this war to to gather status and uh, to report it, and he falsely reported it, and then he went and sold all of his stocks. So that's what follows. He held you know so many stocks. So people uh, um, they followed suit. And what happened? It's it diminished the stocks, and then he went and bought all of them, and ended up buying the bank at that time. And you see you see like the Knights Templar, and this is a line. These people, and the exact picture of uh, it's the general mind, and the uh, exactly what it looks like transitioning uh, from one group to another. But the Knights Templar, it began as uh, to ensure pilgrims to the traveling to the Holy Land, that their travel was secure. That they'd have a safe travel. And what ended up, I mean, they actually created the first checks in the first bank, because they would take these receipt of these these pilgrims property to be cashed in at the bank in the city. And they what ended up happening was, there was, I think, and I don't know how they gathered this number, but that there was only about 40% that made it. And the initiation for these Knights Templar was, and what's with that? That's, what did they gain? What did they amass? Is all that wealth from their endeavor? But what's the initiation for these Knights Templar? On doing unspeakable things to the cross. Um, and essentially just doing unspeakable things against him. The thing is that more recent times, what has been their activity? What what they do is, I mean, everything. I mean, it's like a convoluted thing, but it's actually it's it has a very simple syntax. It's very um, it's been uniform through since the beginning. And they they will initiate wars, and they will perpetuate them. They will feed both sides. And actually, I'll go back. I want to speak on Baphomet. Um, there's one thing, is that the truth is the only thing that looks like the truth. Nothing looks like the truth everything answers to the truth, but the truth answers nothing. You find different things like, and I'm not sure if this is going to be too much of a tangent, but there's, you find something as, Catholicism, people that have been trying to suppress and stifle the truth since the beginning. You find things as Islam, where they try to, uh, where they, like 600 years after the Messiah has come, they come along and try to adopt uh, the Jewish line. And you look, they take their text, the valid line, and they modify it, say it's corrupted, and then so in other words, God abandoned Judaism to go to Islam, and then produce revelation within that. And I'm a damn fool. I should watch how I speak. How dare I speak about our Father? But the thing is, that's kind of a picture of it, family. And there's different things. There's evil takes different forms against the truth, and there's other things. There's whole nations. The thing is, there's a bottleneck, and it's through Noah. And the thing is all of us come from Noah, and so we dispersed. And you look at whole nations, whole peoples, just like, we're all same created. And the thing is, a whole world has passed. Dinosaurs were systematically erased, but that's a small picture. When you look, angels, look at, record in the Bible. There were angels that intermixed with people. And so they were completely different. And I don't know if that was within, that went into Noah's line. I don't think it, did. But they had, they had completely different mental frameworks. They had, maybe different matrix integration. It's, these were different beings. A whole world passed that, that we can't imagine. And, in different ways. And, there's even things post-deluge that have passed, been, erased, that, and what was their existence, though? There's, there are things at work here. And, God, what's the purpose relative to us, though? And that's just the thing. These things are erased and forgotten, with little residual, things that are, that are left. But, what is their existence relative to us? I mean, they exist to be destroyed and forgotten, because they're not for good. But there's anyways, you have the makeup of the globe right now, and different peoples, different nations, and there's whole nations that have turned their back on God. And from their inception, you look at certain glimpses into what is. Every globally, there's iterations of the deluge. Hinduism, the oldest religion, it's, what was it? His first person was Manu, was it not? So every false thing, people turn their back on God. But the thing is, we have the word in its form now. It's word from, it's revelation from God. It's knowledge of God, and it's living. It's a living word. It's perceived. But what is it? Things have been uh, what they have been. They and they are. They will be. There's a certain consistency. Evil has its same same tricks. Baphomet. Um, you look at him, and that these I don't want to call them brothers and sisters. These people, they have this mind. What they adhere to is that certainly man and woman have they are they're specific. We are uh, varied expressions of the same substance. We are. Um, we're necessary, and women are what are human in their own right, and women are beautiful in a way that man cannot be, and man is beautiful in a way that woman can't be. Both are necessary, and both comprise human. For the perpetuation of human, you need both. But I think what they hold to, and I don't need to delve too far into this. You just need, it's invalid. But what they say that man and woman, if, and maybe this is incorrect, but you see Baphomet, you see a picture of it, it's like it looks like a transsexual, and if a being can contain both the essence of man and woman, then it's uh, somehow that's a higher being. Somehow that's in. But you see, there's two things, and what I'm about to talk about. Um, it's also, and that little detail, I'm not sure about, and maybe I'm speaking falsely relative to that. But uh, and then maybe I'm not. It's you see, and this is part of I'll say it's it's a preface to what I'm gonna say. You see, America, first, its inception was by these people that I'm talking about. You see that. It's plain. Let's talk about in prophecy too, how how we are. America is the beast that rose from the ground with two horns. That's church and state. And from the ground, that's a sparsely populated land. And that's what America was. That's what the Native Americans were. And but you see that George, George Washington. He's just runs deep, and it's what he was. I think he was a Mason, and it is all by design. This new world, and you see the dollar bill. It pretty much tells a picture of what things are. And then you see like the Georgia Stone and their plans. And you're like, okay, there'd be much more of a surface visual if that's the case. Or more evidence of activity. The thing is, we're not going to find that thread. One thing is You see nations that are, I think that there's a couple things going on. I see the state of America. This is, it's an abomination, family. You know, I think democracy is one of the is the most perfect form of government as we know it. As far as perfection goes for government, that's what we have, family, in our Constitution. Um, you know the equilibrium that's attained, and the freedom that's available. I mean, it's uh, but despite that, in the face of that, uh, you know, we're going against the very our very natural order of human, and going against same sex is an abomination, family. It is. I'm coming from that I am same created as every individual on this planet, but I'm still going to call evil evil. It is an abomination. Love is not love. Changing who you were born as, that's an abomination. You have sufficiency in you to be purely who you are. And that's a beautiful thing. But we did not self-create. We, our parents partook in the act of procreation. Whoa, it's godlike in and of itself, family. The how we came from what we did. What is it, 23 chromosomes, and what is it, uh, how 60 billion, is it 60 billion characters that produces everything from cell to system within system, to this perfect machine that we are to form. And it's it's impossible how many it's but I don't want to, the point is, and our very life is incongruent with reality as we know it. It cannot be attained by an infinite arrangement of any substance. Our life can, our conscious focus, and that's plain. We'll have things that'll feign consciousness here. It's like the Turing test with AI. We'll probably have artificial consciousness, but not real life. It's impossible. We will never have real life. But what is it? So you see Baphomet, you see that bleed in, you see like pictures of that. You see hell and the devil. So you have like a certain observation of a parent-child role, and that's closed because to their choice of influence, and at the very least, that's God given. To an extent, that's what it is. And you see these children that it's well accepted that minds develop, and even then there's mental illness, and you understand that to be a fulfilled individual is to have the faculty of procreation. To diminish that, I mean, this is coming from a naturalistic standpoint. To diminish that is to diminish, to negate the very quality of life. And you see, I'll put one, I'll say one thing, family. For a brother or sister that has even, uh, a gender, that has undertaken, body modification, you know, what changes your position relative to things is your mind, not your body. Our bodies will go away. Come to God. I'm not saying, you know, the one thing that can separate you from God is you. And, there's no lost brother or sister. I'm very comfortable in saying that. So if you've changed who you were created to be, then change your mind, change your position relative to God, and come to Him. That's that's what matters, family. But I'll say, you look at Baphomet. It's funny how and the thing is, I believe there's much deeper integration. I believe there's two sides. You see, uh, Baphomet, it's like a picture of self worship. It's like a picture of defiance. It's like a picture of defying order, defying God's, his order and his intention. And um, it's not, and there's many different things. There's many different symbols, and but what is it? Then you see another side of it, and you see China. And China is a nation that has, you go, and I'm not sure exactly what its history looks like, but I was talking about nations that have turned their back on God, and you don't see much of a history with anything with God with China. Now that being said, it's now that's his leadership. You see some of the brothers and sisters that live there, and they're some of the most real Christians. You see a lot of fake Christians in abundance in America. Nothing to do with God. But you see bona fide Christians in China, and I don't know if their numbers are going to be 250 million, but that are willing to give everything, and I don't know what they do there. What do they do? How would you like to be run over by a steamroller? Um, but they got a system right now. As we're approaching the whole point of this video, um, I'm just gonna say that everything that happens from here forward is uh, more than it's it's written. It's design. Um, but China, one thing I'll give you is there's things that have been happening, and uh, there's it's plain enough. Um, China, since the onset of COVID, they've implemented a system, and I'd uh, I'd say it's akin to a prototype. It's the WEF. The people have power here. They're prideful. The WEF is a show. What they're gonna they can well uh, get together outside of that, and they get together and we know certain details, and it's private at the same time. It's a joke, and Klaus Schwab and everything, it's a joke, but at the same time, I guess in a certain sense, it's not. But they showed their support for China's China structure, their their what's happening there. One thing, I'll give you a scenario, or I'll give you a thing for pondering, a thing for consideration, and a lens to see everything else through. COVID was created. Okay, that's maybe not uh, made much of our mind as much as it should be, but it should be definitely a thing of consideration moving forward. But anyways, COVID was created. So every reality of the total reality of it was understood before it was introduced. Then you see globally what was there. Internationally, there was uniform response. What does that tell you? That's the key, family. So they knew what it was before it was introduced. They introduced it, and then everybody had uniform response. There's two things. There's control and testing, controlling for testing and testing for control. That's the thing is, it's ongoing. Biden, as things are, Biden just withdrew the crisis status for COVID, but what's China doing? They have this system that they have drones flying over there. Everything's, they can locate an individual within like 7 minutes. And it's interesting that America, with their inhuman practices right now, we're just standing by. But as as it would be, because that's more of a picture of what things are. But like I said, I think it's more of a prototype. But they have drones flying over, with a loudspeaker. If you could just you understand that, like, books that were imaginations, that's like what would it be like. But there's like drones flying over with loudspeaker telling people to suppress their innate desire for freedom, to close their windows and stay inside. They have this system where it's through your phone, and it's it can be this is basically your life in your phone. They have camps built, like 666,000. It's these to contain people that have contracted contracted COVID. That something as efficacious as flu. The mortality rate on it's of course, you look into it deeper, and the numbers for the for the uh, for the varying diseases, they were the numbers were skewed. So the COVID death numbers aren't the COVID death numbers. But so something as efficacious as that, they're and then I'm sorry if I'm not being effective here, but you you consider why are they testing? Do they realize that as we go against God, that there may be something introduced? Or are they looking at how they can control? Or are they just looking at observing, the collective's tendencies? Um, it's but they have these camps. They everything is through their phones. Right now, that's medium, but they have like a pass through that, And that could be affected even. There's a video, and this person had like a red pass, and you need this to get. This is, parallel with the mark of the beast. That what that'll look like when it happens. Um, Maybe it'll be something like this, but even to enter into a certain place. But you see this person that had a red pass, and you catch these released videos, and maybe that wasn't by happenstance, but these Chinese brothers and sisters that had their masks on, just hordes of people just running from this there was an alarm going off, and so they located where this well, I think that it was kind of an empty space, so they were probably just running to the empty space. But there was an alarm went off, with the red pass. So these brothers and sisters, these poor brothers and sisters, just mentally traumatized what they're doing. What they have these people enveloped in, just running for their lives from this person with that had this red pass, as to not, contract it within like 15 feet, is effective for that. And now what I'm saying is these people, all of this, and you can connect the dots yourself. All of this is with what I'm saying. I'm kind of talking around it, and this is a portion where I'll actually talk about it. Uh, okay, so you see like surface things, and all those surface things I'm arguing are hugely integrated, hugely intended. There's everything is meaningful. Everything is meaningful. People, these people that have been this mind that's been since the beginning, they know well that God is real. They know well that Jesus is real. They know well that hell is real and Satan is real because they serve him. And how can you serve Satan when it's to the detriment of your own existence? When essentially, in serving him, you are against yourself in the deepest way. That's probably parallels how this place will be wrapped up. But you, if you have any thought, the thing is like I said, just a little insight. You look at the withdrawal from Iraq. I believe that there were different realms of influence, within these minds, what they can control, effectively control. And first I think it was their little area, and then I think it moved to the new world, and then I think it moved to the globe from the new world, and now it's just going to be the new world. And you look how things, I think there were secondary nations, maybe, and you look at many things, 9/11, we could talk about that. That was very much, different things connected to that. That was not by chance. Um, and you look at, uh, and what exactly is behind that. Obviously it's to affect our minds. Um, and it's also to affect our minds relative to other things, uh, and to validate something, and maybe to modify something or take away something here. But one thing is uh, it's interesting. You see what's in the Middle East, and that's how the reserve monetary unit, is the dollar, and that's uh, that's and I don't even know if I have layperson knowledge to speak about this, but then the oil is traded uh, through the dollar. And the thing is, I don't think there's a shift from that. And Um, it's not what it seems, family. It's You see different activity. You see the withdrawal from Iraq, from the Middle East, our presence, and you see things that are running concurrent to that, and you see, I don't know if it's like, uh, and this is recent, it's like this it's like this was there's certain initiation, and uh, we can only see so much, and what we see is invalid. It's what we see is what's intended for us to see. It's a very fragile thing. It's because truly, order is everything with us. I'm just thinking about different things. It's been planned for they planned, to have a global unit of currency for, I think they planned, I don't know when, for 2018. And I think there's certain existent things. There's I mean, there's designer babies, and you see certain things aren't key though. There's certain things that are, and I'm not even sure, if there's things that were perceived then. There's transhumanism now. There's uh, you know, brain computer interface, and artificial intelligence, and um, that maybe they looked to prophecy, and I don't know if they they tried to I don't know, but and obviously there's cryptocurrency now, but we see um, and the thing is, they made that projection. It's not like they thought they were going to fail in that. Um, but you see like certain faces and everything, and this is all going to play into it. We see what we're intended to see. Like you see Elon with his movement, and he will be I think he'll be president. And it's that's no revelation. Um, he he has his endeavors, and uh, one thing is a people are more will more readily follow a person than a group. But he's just like a puppet, or he's a puppet, just like the rest of them, all the way up. Um, but I think it'll be a feigned thing. His presidency's written, it's scripted. It's just like Trump. You know, it's all just a play, family. Um, and he'll probably come to combat. I'm surprised that things aren't happening faster. You see like China's activity in Taiwan, or with Taiwan. you wonder if there will be a different or an intended different infrastructure. Or if we're, the thing is, at the core of us is our Constitution, and that's, you see Israel in America. You see at least, the surface visual, existence of us. Well, the Constitution is at our core. Is that we're kind of contrary to the new order of things, and what's what coincides with the Constitution is the collective's, the population's mind. And what then, I don't think that, you know, America is constituted uh, of everyone. It's, what is it, the melting pot, right? And, um, so I don't think that they're going to do away. I don't think they're going to be dropping any bombs on us. But, the thing is, we do have to be broken. You know, we do have to be, our minds have to be broken. And it's interesting how much COVID broke us. I was a coward. I didn't have faith when COVID was introduced. But you look, and these people, they have a history of feeding wars, of initiating wars, of perpetuating wars for different causes. That's a picture of things, family. Things don't happen with the integration of things anymore. Things aren't happening by chance. That the BRICS that was formed, Goldman Sachs, he perceived that the first four were going to be have some kind of reality, some kind of form, and that was I think that was like decades ago, and but the thing is, the reality of it now, I don't believe that China's proceeding on its own. I believe that it's a feigned enemy. I think that that the Middle East, and its change of heart. It's interesting too how everything's happening. Elon with his EVs, and our shift. One thing is, EVs, they will be. One thing is, you can, actively control that power source. And I guess it could be argued that you could control the distribution of gas too. But, you see everything happening. And at first, what I first perceived was that, I perceived it as that it was valid. But the thing is I'm fairly certain that you look at how things have happened. It's the one thing that can unify us is you see a little hints, and see if I can if I can cover it, passively cover it. It's on the Georgia Stones. I think I'm not sure what they're called, but they intend to reduce population. I don't know if that's runs concurrent with with what is prophesied. You know, we will have plagues, we will have wars, and you know the thing is I think that you know it's like I was going with you know, I don't know if I could speak about it, uh, but I think I can uh, speak about it correctly in as far as saying that, you know, uh, climate change is invalid. You know, I don't know if the world has, you know, cycles. I don't know exactly the knowledge that's, but it's less of a fixation as a valid thing, uh, as it is, you know, a causal thing. And that's the one thing that, you know, can unify the population. That's us. That's what we perceive, and that's also what they can leverage. Um, you know, things will proceed, and there's ends, and everything will happen accordingly. You know, you see like activity in Taiwan. That's a possibility. You see shifts that you know, like at Starbucks in different ways. You know, but you see shifts. Uh, and there was something that happened also that recently that paints a picture is there were blueprints from international companies that were leaked, you know, that they were hacked, and they believe it was a Chinese source, and now and I don't know the number, and they said it was ongoing, and now I don't know the number of this, but I think it was like 30 million, you know, and I don't know the number. And uh, what's meaningful was, uh, you know, this intellectual property, this special property is being leaked. You know, it was things such as, you know, military um, documents, you know, blueprints. And this is going to the Chinese, and you know, they're developing right now, and they're building their forces, and it's the thing is it's not you know, I'll just tell you, family, it's not by chance. And you know, you're like this thing, of course they have a plan. That's, you know, that's how they're, you know, that's that's uh how things are, but it's deeper. I mean, the plan is you know, I think it's already mapped out to an extent, you know. And you know, the wars that we have will be caused. The plagues that are introduced will be well, it's just that they will be introduced. Um, I believe that they will uh, the people that have been for you know, these people that I talked about at the beginning of, you know, the Illuminati. These people they're moving, and they're active, and they will move things in their end goal. Now, what is to be gained from power? I've considered this. It's almost it is a faulty mind. What is to be gained from power? It's a defective mind. There's it's like a character weakness. Unless it's towards ends, and what ends are there? Towards the destruction of things, or the diminishing of qualitative existence in people worldwide, fighting all goodness. The thing is, there are entities here. They do worship Satan. They do have a plan. They will be effective, and as far as they as far as they will be, and things truly can't be moved. Like prophecy can't be moved with all the power in the world in perfect order, because it was seen what things are. But everything that we see is going to be less of it's going to be exactly proactive. It's not going to be reactive. It's not going to be a fluid a fluid thing. This BRICS, it will introduce a new unit, and you know what is it? Saudis will proceed, in their their late behavior. They the dollar will be diminished, and it's there will be an introduction of the new unit. There will be the transition into digital currency, and then there will be the unification of into a certain or a single digital currency. And this is all planned, family. You see these feigned wars, these feigned enemies, they're talking they're in agreement behind out of sight. These, why do you think things are happening? It's everything's happening everything's happening in order. And so it doesn't much matter what people say. So it's the thing is, population decrease is intended. So this war that may happen, it's not a problem. Likely will happen. One thing I can promise you is America's going to be greatly affected. That's plain. Layperson can put that together. I think they're trying to, America will do something. It's intended that America doesn't do anything. That's exactly why things are happening as they are. they serve Satan. You see different natures. You see the nature of the system in China. You see the nature of the population in America. Different shades of it. Um, you see you see different things that are kind of following a certain line. You see things that are compromising. Uh, you see that there will be one world government, one world economy, and one world religion. And there's different speculation. Satan will come too. He put it. Amir Safari put it together that he made. He there were. I'm familiar with this scripture, but that but he paralleled these and there's made a point with the scriptures is that I think that we know that there will be the Antichrist, but I think that maybe Satan will come. Um, but you see, like, people within the church that had nothing to do with God, nothing to do with God. And in fact, they're completely against him. But they're calling good bad and bad good. Evil good. And the thing is there's certain symbolism, and these were made known to me, uncovered, and you see like the little SS bolts and Nazi symbolism. Those scriptures that Satan, Jesus saw Satan fall like lightning. And what do you think that symbolizes? And you see, what they do, kill God's people. What we are, what our Lord is. I'm grafted in. I'm a nationalist. Those are my people. Those are my brothers and sisters. We are his people. We are grafted in. I'm a Gentile, but I'm a Hebrew, or I'm a Jew. Because we are. It sounds stupid to say that, because really I'm not, but at the same time I am. Because my Lord, that's the Jews are his people. But what they do, kill God's people. And and I think the Illuminati was a participant in both sides with that, and for different reasons. They fed both sides of the war. So that's a picture of things to come, family. And what is it? The Phoenix. And what do you think America has to do to proceed? What flies has to die before it can rise. And that's just it. This place has to burn before it can be reborn. And that's exactly what they have intended. They have to decrease the population. They have a mind to decrease the population. They need to humble things. They need to, diminish things. They need to, break minds. They need to break psyches and, ambitions. And, and we're moving into a thing too where this can be automation and a completely different paradigm, family. A new revelation or new revolution that we can't even imagine. Our very humanness is going to be taken away from us. I think that AI will choose people, because how else would it be? Like, you'll be chosen, and maybe I think it'll be a participant in individuals, and then there'll be an effective collective minds. And I think that AI will modify human, and human will modify AI, and its potential we can't even imagine, family. There's the Tower of Babel. God saw us from the beginning. He created our minds to create. So technology is not except by him. The extrapolation that is technology. And technology just exists in the matrix of reality. But we don't even know what's coming, family. AI is gonna realize things that we couldn't even imagine if it goes that far. And I'm not sure that it will. But there will be wars caused by them. There will be plagues, there will be wars. There will be and all of this moving forward, just keep that just keep that in mind. It's all just it's all systematic. They're gonna systemically transform this place. And there's all the existent things. They're people, they serve Satan. They know of God's existence, they serve Satan, wittingly and willingly. And they're going to I'm just kind of talking around this right now. I believe that America will be well broken. It won't be perpetuated in its state. But I don't think it's going to be done away with. But I think it's there will be the separation of maybe the separation of currencies. There will be and then there'll be turmoil and chaos, maybe. And I think that there may become a face to save save the day. And and this is just the way. This is just like natural. I'm not, I don't believe that God's given me on any kind of thing outside of normal revelation. But I think this is just natural derivation. I believe that he's shown me like certain things, and this is just plain. So these people, they serve Satan. They are puppet masters in this world, and nations are puppeted, and all the activity going forward will be by them, and it will be toward two ends. And this place will transform how we don't know it. We will have a system, and we'll just watch. It's a number of years, and I don't think this place can be here much more than I thought. I can imagine this place being here much more than 150 years. But I just thought that naturally, that we will have a digital currency. We'll have a single currency. And I think that we will have an identification tied to us, because there's going to be you already see how quantum systems can compromise security.